Hello. In this fourth unit, we will be dealing with regulation and maintenance ecosystem services. Remember the roadmap? We were thinking about the relationship between natural capital and people. We showed that the natural capital could be considered as the stock that provides benefits to people through the ecosystem services, divided into three main categories: provisioning, regulation, and cultural, which are the flows from this stock of natural capital to the people to provide benefits to the people. This classification follows the suggestion by the European Environmental Agency to divide the three large groups of ecosystem services into three. So now we are focusing on the second section, the section of regulation ecosystem services. These are certainly very important ecosystem services, though in many cases they are not visible to the eye. But they are the ecosystem services that provide us with life. So take for instance bioremediation. By fungi, by plants, by bacteria, they help create the environment that makes life, especially human life, visible, and they help make the planet a greener place. Take for instance the filtering, noise attenuation, visual screening from trees that we usually find in cities. They are also very valuable for us, take into account that filtering is not only filtering of nuisances, it's also filtering of gases. So it's what we need to breathe, for instance, to have clean air to breathe. In the group of regulation ecosystem services, we also find the erosion control. That means vegetation helps to fix the land and to avoid erosion. A very similar ecosystem service is that of attenuation of mass movement, which of course we are not always aware of this, but the damages related to mass movements might be huge, especially in places which are located close to urban areas or to habitated areas. In this group of regulation services, of course, there's the flood control, which is usually served by vegetation alongside the rivers, either by small vegetation, short vegetation, or by trees themselves. They help mark the line for rivers. They help prevent the erosion of land and mass movements of land surrounding the course of rivers. And in the coast, mangroves also play a very special role in preventing tides and waves to erode the coastal line, which is extremely important in the tropical areas, for instance. Life cycle maintenance, for instance, pollination, especially by bees, by other insects, by animals itself, it's extremely important. Seed dispersal by animals, by wind, by water. We are not always conscious about the role of these services for humankind as well. Life cycle maintenance can be also be appreciated in the way of nursery. Many places in the world act as nursery areas for species that then go to live somewhere else, or in some cases the nursery and future living take place in the same place, and this is a regulation service provided by a certain environment or a certain group of ecosystems for humankind. The regulation of soil quality, here the vegetation itself plays a role, but also animals like worms. They regulate the amount of nutrients for plants. and then increasing the quality of soil for any kind of use, including of course agricultural use. We also have a regulation service in the regulation of water conditions, for instance filtering of water either by biotic means related to plants for instance, or by abiotic filtration by stones or by rock. Regulation services also related to the atmospheric conditions. We are very aware of CO2 capture. We know that trees capture CO2. We are not always aware that organic matter in soil also captures a lot of CO2. And of course, trees also play another role in filtering different gases that we humans need for our breathing, for our life. And we also have regulation services related to the regulation of temperature and humidity. Trees in cities, for instance, provide cooling either by transpiration, by providing shaded areas, and of course trees also intercept and absorb radiation from the sun. So these are just examples of regulation services that are are surrounding us, are very valuable for us, but most of the times we are not aware of them. And if we put a value on them, what we will find is that the value is extremely high.